Roleplay is one of the most exciting ways and also safe ways to add a bit of excitement and fun into your relationship. So that's why I would love to dive into roleplay and share a little bit on how to play safe. And I'm gonna take this off because it's really hard to see you guys like this. I'm still having mine, you see? I like those. Pet play is one of my favorites. I love to play a cat. It brings up different aspects of me that I usually I'm not so good usually in exploring them. For instance, being really playful. And what I mean with playful is just playing for the play, for nothing else. Running after a ball, just purr. I love purring. The fun thing is that one of my kids took it over. He doesn't know anything about this, but he's doing that too if he's really happy. So in a way, he's also role playing in that sense. I think that role playing for everyone creates a safe space, and that's why it's also so wonderful to play with it. It can add so much to your relationship, and it can give so much fun, so much excitement, and it's safe because it's a role. It's not real in a way. And if you think about it, most of BDSM is role play. I mean, you can say that you're really a little girl inside, but if you're 35 years old, you are not a little girl. But you love to play one, and you love to take the little girl out and to be in that role. But in a way, it's always a role, and that's why it's so beautiful. It's safe, and you can play there. But there's always a way out, and that's one of the most important things of role play. You can take on any role you want. You can be a teacher with the students. You can be a police officer with a prisoner. You can be a burglar with an innocent housewife. You can be like really a slut with a pimp. You can do pet play. One of the things that I was really excited about when I discovered it is there's quite a community in the BDSM community that's called pony play, and people are really like dressing up completely covered in latex or in leather or in rubber, and they actually look like a pony, and they look beautiful, and they look proud. It's nothing to be ashamed of. But you don't have to go all the way like that if you're just starting, and if you're just looking for ideas on how to spice things up a little bit in the bedroom, then roleplay is fantastic. And you can take it anywhere you want. You don't have to go with whips and all, you don't have to go like mistress and slave, but you can just like instead start with a little bit of student with a teacher and a ruler. That might be fun to start with at the beginning. So I actually look like my shirt. I like it. That's funny. I believe that role play is something that is really nice to start exploring. If you have something like a hidden desire, like you have something that you would really like to try out once, and you never dared to discuss it with your partner, role playing gives you a very, very safe way to actually address it, because then you can put it in a role. It's not like really big immediately. And a role, if you play a role, especially when you begin, it has a beginning and an end. Even Total Power Exchange has a beginning and an end, right? It means it starts whenever you sign the contract or whenever you decide that it starts, and it ends the moment that you use your safe word, because that's the good thing with role play. There's always a way out, even with Total Power Exchange. If you're starting and you want to explore something, then just start a discussion with your partner and see if there is anything in roleplay that she's interested in or he's interested in. and you can do that in any way you want. One of the fun things that we like to do is I like to write fantasies, and I'm just starting, and it brings up from my unconscious, actually. It brings up really like scenarios. I'm quite a sucker for, well, I said pet play is one of the things, like being a kitten, but also I'm really a sucker for Middle Ages, fairy tale stuff like Leoness and the kind of like mysterious, and I'd probably be a nun or that kind of stuff. That's what I really like. So I love to be like being imprisoned, or I'm living in a castle and I'm kidnapped, or I'm married to a king, but we have a really like loveless marriage, and then suddenly there's this handsome knight coming over and he kidnaps me, or he just like I call him to my rooms and he just fuck my brains out, for instance. I love that. That's my type of. If you want to know what your partner is on, and you want to figure out together if you can find something in common, because it would be really nice to have like a fantasy that you both like, right? A very important thing about it is the preparation. If you want to do it right. So once you decided on a role play that you're gonna do, make sure that the first time you take, like, for instance, an evening, not like the whole day. One of the things that I found out is that for me it's very important to do it not in my house, not in the same place, but I would like to go out. If we're really going for a role play, I would like to just book like an Airbnb house or anything like pretty affordable, but something that's close. It's not very complicated to get there, but it's like really completely different, and it will get me into a different mode, and that really helps. So that's one of the things. The second is, usually when you have a role play, there's always one is the leader and one is the follower, right? If you have a master and the student, the master is leading. If you have an officer and a prisoner, the officer is probably leading. So it means that you can actually create more or less the scene if you're in the leading position, and that's fun, because then you can think about setting the scene. Setting the scenes, you can do both, of course. You can also do that as the follower. But you can actually create a scene, right? So you can think of what you're gonna do, and you can make it a surprise for your partner. Maybe the first time when you do it, you don't make it completely a surprise. Then you discuss what you're gonna do, and you just leave the details out, because the first time you really need to get used to it. And if you have never done that before, you need to find out what you're gonna do, how are you gonna do it. And you need to build up that trust that your partner is actually going to do what you discussed on it. I believe that no matter how often you did it, you always talk about limits before. So check if everything that you want to do, if that's okay with both of you, and just make sure that you have a safe word in place, because the safe word is as much for you as a submissive or as a follower as for the leader, because as the leader, you need to make sure that you can trust your partner, that they will say their safe word if they're not comfortable, or if something goes wrong or anything. And the moment that the scene is off, then also the role play is off. But it's fun. I mean, then now you have like a whole evening, and you can really play with it, and you can put it in perspective, and you can put it in a role. So it doesn't matter. No, if you're thirsty and you want to have a drink, make sure that you find out a way on how you in that role would act for asking for a drink, for instance. Now, I think this is a great way also to explore something that you would like to explore. For instance, if you're a guy and you were always in the leading position, and you would like to see what it would be like if you would be the one following the orders, just turn it around. Find a role that would fit you, that is exciting for the both of you. This is such an easy way to ease into a bit of a kink in your relationship, and it's going to be so much fun. It can be confronted. Maybe something comes up that you were not aware of, some trauma from school, and you're playing teacher and student, and something comes up that you really didn't process yet, and then suddenly it hits you. That's possible. So don't be afraid if that happens. I think my biggest tip would be just go with the flow. Don't think about it too much. Just like really get into position. I really like to dress up. I like to go to secondhand shops to see if I can find some nice props, just to make sure that it's even more exciting, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So just have fun and play with passion.